The three little pigs embark on their journey, eager to build their own homes. Chapter 1. The Departure. Once upon a time, in the heart of the English countryside, there lived three little pigs. These three brothers had grown up under the care of their loving mother, a wise and kind old sow who had always taken care of them. One day, she decided it was time for her sons to seek their fortunes and make their own way in the world. "My dear children," she said, "you are now old enough to live on your own. Go out into the world and build your houses. But remember, whatever you do, do it the best that you can, because that's the way to get along in the world." And so, the three little pigs packed their belongings and set off on their journey. They traveled through lush green fields and charming villages, each pig thinking about the type of house they would build. Chapter 2. The Straw House. The first little pig, who was the youngest and least inclined to hard work, decided to build his house out of straw. "This will be quick and easy," he thought to himself. And indeed, in no time at all, he had built a cozy little straw hut. He was very pleased with himself and sat down to rest. One day, while the first little pig was lounging by his straw house, he heard a rustling in the bushes. Out stepped a large, cunning wolf who had been watching the pig from afar. Little pig, let me come in," said the wolf with a sly grin. "Not by the hair of my chinny chin chin," replied the little pig defiantly. "Then I'll huff, and I'll puff, and I'll blow your house in," growled the wolf, and with a great breath, the wolf blew down the straw house. The little pig squealed in fright and ran as fast as his legs could carry him to his brother's house. The first little pig builds his house quickly out of straw, unaware of the lurking danger. Chapter 3. The Stick House. The second little pig, who was a bit more diligent but still somewhat lazy, decided to build his house out of sticks. "This will be stronger than straw and won't take too long," he reasoned. He spent a few days gathering sticks and constructing his house. It was a bit sturdier than the straw hut, and he felt quite satisfied with his work. Just like his younger brother, the second little pig was soon visited by the same cunning wolf. The wolf, licking his lips at the thought of two pigs for dinner, approached the stick house. Little pig, let me come in," he demanded. "Not by the hair of my chinny chin chin," the second pig retorted. "Then I'll huff, and I'll puff, and I'll blow your house in," roared the wolf. The wolf blew with all his might, and the stick house, though stronger than the straw house, came tumbling down. The two little pigs squealed in terror and ran to their eldest brother's house. The wolf blowing down the stick house of the second little pig. The wolf uses all his might to blow down the stick house, forcing the pigs to flee. Chapter 4. The Brick House. The third little pig, the eldest and wisest of the three, decided to build his house out of bricks. "It will take time and effort, but it will be worth it," he thought. He carefully laid each brick, making sure they were all perfectly aligned and the mortar was strong. After weeks of hard work, he finally completed his solid brick house. The eldest pig welcomed his frightened brothers into his sturdy home. "You are safe here," he assured them. "This house will not fall." The cunning wolf, now very hungry and very determined, followed the pigs to the brick house. Little pig, let me come in," he called out menacingly. "Not by the hair of my chinny chin chin," the eldest pig replied firmly. "Then I'll huff, and I'll puff, and I'll blow your house in," snarled the wolf. He huffed and puffed with all his might, but the brick house stood strong. The wolf, exhausted and enraged, could not blow down the sturdy brick house. The wolf uses all his might to blow down the stick house, forcing the pigs to flee. Chapter 4. The Brick House. The third little pig, the eldest and wisest of the three, decided to build his house out of bricks. "It will take time and effort, but it will be worth it," he thought. He carefully laid each brick, making sure they were all perfectly aligned and the mortar was strong. After weeks of hard work, he finally completed his solid brick house. The eldest pig welcomed his frightened brothers into his sturdy home. "You are safe here," he assured them. "This house will not fall." The cunning wolf, now very hungry and very determined, followed the pigs to the brick house. Little pig, let me come in," he called out menacingly. "Not by the hair of my chinny chin chin," the eldest pig replied firmly. "Then I'll huff, and I'll puff, and I'll blow your house in," snarled the wolf. He huffed and puffed with all his might, but the brick house stood strong. The wolf, exhausted and enraged, could not blow down the sturdy brick house. The three little pigs find refuge in the eldest brother's sturdy brick house. Chapter 5. The Wolf's Plan. The wolf, realizing he couldn't blow down the brick house, devised a new plan. He decided to trick the pigs into leaving the safety of their home. "Little pigs," he called sweetly, "I know of a beautiful field of turnips not far from here. Would you like to come with me to gather some for a delicious meal?" The eldest pig was not easily fooled. "Where is this field?" he asked. The wolf, thinking himself very clever, replied, "At Mr. Smith's farm, just over the hill. Meet me there tomorrow morning at 6 o'clock. The eldest pig, being wise, woke up at 5 o'clock the next morning. He went to Mr. Smith's farm, gathered the turnips, and returned home before the wolf even arrived. When the wolf knocked on the door at 6, the pigs were already enjoying their turnips. The wolf, now angrier than ever, tried another trick. "Little pigs, I know of an orchard with the sweetest apples you can imagine. Shall we go there tomorrow morning at 5? Again, the eldest pig outsmarted the wolf. He went to the orchard at 4 o'clock, picked the apples, and returned before the wolf showed up. The wolf was infuriated to find the pigs already eating their apples when he arrived. Chapter 6. The Final Trick. Desperate and starving, the wolf came up with one last plan. "Little pigs," he said, "there is a fair in town tomorrow. Shall we go together?" The eldest pig agreed but planned to leave early once more. The next morning, he and his brothers went to the fair at dawn, enjoyed the festivities, and returned home before the wolf could catch them. However, the wolf, determined to have his meal, arrived at the fairgrounds and saw the pigs leaving. He chased them all the way back to their brick house. But when he reached the sturdy home, he found the door securely locked and the windows shut tight. Chapter 7. The Chimney. Frustrated and unwilling to give up, the wolf decided to climb down the chimney. The eldest pig, seeing the wolf's plan, quickly lit a roaring fire in the fireplace and placed a large pot of water over it. As the wolf clambered down the chimney, he fell straight into the boiling water. He let out a yelp and jumped out of the pot, scalded and defeated. He scrambled out of the chimney and ran away, never to be seen again. Chapter 8. The Celebration. The three little pigs, safe and sound, celebrated their victory. They learned that hard work and perseverance pay off. The eldest pig's brick house stood as a symbol of their strength and intelligence, and the brothers lived happily ever after, free from the threat of the cunning wolf. They often reminisced about their adventures, thankful for their elder brother's wisdom and the lesson that diligence and effort are always rewarded. The cunning wolf's final attempt ends in defeat as he falls into a boiling pot. And so, the three little pigs lived peacefully in their brick house, enjoying the fruits of their labor and the security of their well-built home.